You're listening to the Prospector Podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Prospector Podcast. I'm Andrew. This is Andy.
G'day, everyone. Welcome to episode 2. You're here with the two Andrews, and we're here to talk everything prospecting.
Mate, let's start with, what have you been up to this week?
Mate, I have been watching it rain. Anyone that's living in Queensland right now will be telling the same story. It just won't stop raining. So basically, I've been doing research, mate, getting ready for another year.
Could you send some of that rain down to Vico, mate? It's a bit dry down here.
Look, we've had about 15 inches at Gympie already, because that's where I'm at, Gympie, which, as most people know, is a big gold town with a great history and some good prospecting around the area too, but I can't get to any of it. It's all underwater at the moment. So,
good old Australia, hey?
But what about yourself, mate? What are you doing?
Look, school holidays at the moment, so I actually took my young fella out for his first bit of gold the other day. That was interesting. It was a creek that I've never seen no water in was dry. So that was different. I took a boat out prospecting, which was different again.
Yeah, that sounds like a bit of an adventure, mate.
Yeah, it was good. You can catch that on the YouTube channel. Another gold prospector, for those that are wondering. And you can also catch Andy's on, what's your tag, mate?
Andy Lay, Diary of a Prospector.
So you can hit both of those channels up on YouTube if you haven't already. What else did I do? Did some creek reading and a bit of exploring, but outside that, no major discoveries. Pretty warm down here at the moment, so that sort of puts a stop to most things, and no water makes it even more difficult.
Yes, I know, mate. Especially with you love getting out doing your panning and stuff, so that sort of puts an end to it real quick.
It does, indeed. So,
which
really sort of segues into our next segment, which is what you get to do a lot when it's raining or too hot, and that's research tips. So, guys, my one is Google Earth and how to use Street View to find workings. It's something I do a lot when looking for new spots. I think most people have Google Maps or Google Earth open when you are looking for new spots. So, when you get into your Google Maps, I'll just play this for you. Hit Layers, go to More, go to Street View, and all the covered Street View streets show up blue, just like that. So let's go down to Creswick, to Slatty Creek Road, because most people in Victoria are going to know exactly where this is. We can pan around, we can click down the road, and it takes us for a drive, saves petrol. Zoom right in, and what do you know? There's a bunch of mully heaps right there. You'll all have driven past those if you've been to Creswick. Go a bit further, and look, there's the clay pit. It's a really, really good tool to use. That you've got this high definition imagery 360 around every road that is covered. So it's well worth using. Saves you driving out there. And if you're worried about coverage, check this out. Spin you around the right way. This is just Victoria. Every blue road has got Street View. Let's get out to the rest of Australia. There's all of New South Wales. Heading up into Queensland, South Australia and WA. The whole of Australia is painted blue, apart from that middle bit where there isn't anything, apart from gold. So that's what I do when, I'm looking at new spots in the area. I see if Street View's covered it. It also gives you an idea of where you can park your car on the side of the road as well. You can see if there's pull-offs and so on. So, yeah, there's a bit of a cheeky one that I like to use anyway.
It certainly comes in handy, mate. I know, like, up in the Palmer River in Cape York, where I work a lot, the Street View doesn't help quite so much, but that satellite imagery is still just so helpful. That the entire, Google Earth has definitely led us to areas where you can see the old timers' workings. You can sometimes see the old walking tracks and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more, mate. It's a fantastic app and just another tool, something else to play around on at night when you're just trying to find somewhere new to go.
I've been lost in there for hours, mate. I've wasted so many hours of life in Google Earth. It's not funny.
Well, I'm going to go the opposite for my research tip today.
All right, mate.
I'm going to go old school, mate. So 25 years ago when I first started prospecting...
They used parchment and quills.
They did it. They actually did. So... But there was no Google Earth, no internet really. The internet was just kicking off, so there was a few forums, but nothing serious. So one of the best places to find local information was at the local library.
They
And
exist.
those books are still there. And if you go into your local library, go to the local history area and have a look around. Now, often the local history books, you can't take them out. You can't, take them away from the library. So you either sit in there, read them, or just take your phone in and video or take photos of the pages that interest you. But, I mean, there's one in the Warwick library called The History of the Rosenthal Shire. And as the name suggests, it's the history of Warwick. And Warwick being a goldfield not far out of town, it gets a fairly good mention in places.
Yeah, right.
I've also used it to find old gemstone deposits down at another town in southern New South Wales, little local library, and I found a thin little book that just talked about some mine works they did in the 1940s and how they come across a heap of gemstones when they did it. So I went in, had a look, and I found a fantastic deposit of gemstones thanks to that old book.
Yeah, it's unreal, isn't it? The old paper.
Don't doubt the paper and parchment and the pen, mate. It's
right.
It's still in there, and it's not utilised. Like, not many people go into their library looking for info anymore, but it's in there.
There's some of your better set up libraries have old maps as well.
Absolutely. So, and now actually talking about the Warwick goldfields, I want to clarify a couple of things from last week, mate.
Sure.
So we talked about a particular type of rock called trap rock, and we got some questions about what trap rock is. Now, I was talking about the Greymere area or the Palgrave goldfields, which is at the bottom of the Jurakai, the southern end of it. And there's a rock in there called the Greymere granodiorite. Now, that rock, as it suggests, is only found at Greymere. It's the only place that particular type of granodiorite's found. Now, anyone that's driven in that country will know the rock. It's that real hard, square rock, tyre slasher. If you've driven along the rabbit fence, you know the rock I'm talking about. We call it trap rock. So, and there's even a mining company in that area that's called Trap Rock Mining, and it's the same thing. So that's one I just wanted to clarify. Trap rock is your granodiorite, localised only in that area. Now, the other one was a vegetation tool. So I sort of used the names the local prospectors use, which I know now is a trap. I've got to do some more research and make sure I'm saying the right names in the future. So we were talking about a particular type of tree that I dodge, that I don't go near. And I called it a she oak, which is wrong. It's a cypress pine, so it's actually a little native pine. So there's white cypress pine and black cypress pine in that area. And where they grow on the hills, it's just the worst ground you could find. There's no quartz in it generally. It's just all that trap rock. And I've never found gold in amongst them. Now, the proper she oak, which is the casuarina tree, it grows down in the gullies. So, you can find gold in amongst the casuarina trees, no doubt, because alluvial gold moves around. But just to emphasise the point, you're still looking for those ironbarks, the spotty gum, and the Chinaman bush, that streaky wattle. That's still the best place to find gold in those goldfields.
Yeah.
So, right, I hope they cleared that up for everyone.
Yep, there was a few comments. And, hey, guys, keep the comments coming. We will address them, as you've just seen. So if there's anything, any questions, anything like that, drop a comment. We'll jump in there, and if we can't fix it up in the comments section, we'll do it on the next podcast for sure. Let's hit safety tip. I'll take it away.
Righto.
And it's just because I get smashed by these things. Insects. Leeches, mozzies, march flies, normal flies, ticks, bull ants, spiders. They're all joyful critters that prospectors have to deal with. I haven't even started on like the things in the water like crays, yabbies, leeches, all those saltwater crocs in your case. I don't know if they come under insects, but they still bite. Insect repellent. I use RID, Tropical Strength. I like it. It sort of helps. It sort of helps because when they climb on you, they climb back off again. They don't just keep climbing on you. But here's a couple of stats for you. You know that bull ants kill more people in Australia than any other insect. There's been 8 recorded deaths since 1998. Now, you compare that with spiders. Now, everyone knows Australia's known for their spiders. How many responsible deaths in Australia since 1979?
No.
0. So all you guys screaming about spiders, you should be screaming about your bloody bull ants. They'll kill you. Anyway, moral of the story is you're better off keeping these bitey things away from you than having them climb down your waders and bite you on the arse or whatever they want to do. And a bit of insect repellent in the backpack never goes astray.
Mate, absolutely. Bull ants have been a curse for me. I reckon I've been done by 200 over the course of the journey between the jumping jacks, the big bull ants, the big bulldog ants, you name it. They're in every goldfield. They're Australia-wide, but I'm sure we've all dealt with them. And they're just so painful, they can really ruin a weekend. But, yeah, and they are deadly, that anaphylactic shock that people get. You know, the one, certainly steer clear of. Get to know what the nest look like so you don't disturb the nest. That's the most important one.
They're so inquisitive as well, you know, like you put your backpack down and if there's a bull ant within 5 metres, he's on your backpack checking it out. You know, and you go whack that on your back and right in the middle of the, you know, that soft bit of your lumbar, smash, like you know about it.
That's right. Now, the worst one up here on the Warwick goldfields and in Queensland's the little red cattle tick we get on the goldfields. And look, repellent doesn't really keep them at bay. What a lot of the local prospectors like to do out in the Warwick goldfields, which is the worst goldfields I've ever seen for ticks, is they use surface spray and just spray it on their boots so the ticks just can't get up the boots. You know, there's still the chance they're going to get on your legs. And if you've got long pants, you could probably put surface spray on your pants too. But that surface spray on your boots will keep the vast majority of ticks off.
So you're not advocating putting surface spray on the bare skin, mate?
No, I'd rather you probably didn't do that under my advice.
No, I probably wouldn't either. No, we do some pretty crazy things out there. I don't think surface spray is going to kill us.
No, and there's the old school, you know, dead oil and baby oil ones for sandflies and that sort of thing. So
yeah, ticks not a problem down here. We don't have an issue with ticks. I've never had a tick down here.
Warwick goldfields, I've come home sometimes with dozens of them on me. So
yeah. Paralysis ticks, they get into you?
No, they're not a paralysis tick. There's a few different stages, actually. So obviously the real big ones, you get onto them quick, so they might make you sick. But generally you get the real tiny little ones, like a grain of sand. And so you won't even know it's there. Usually you'll climb up into your jocks where it's nice and warm and dark and itchy. That's the worst thing about those little red ticks. That itch can last for months. It is. Yeah, just so itchy.
And your wife leaves you because she thinks you've got crabs.
Well, you can sometimes bring ticks home to the kids. So if you've got dogs and you've got kids and the missus at home and you're being out in those sort of goldfields and you come home, I've been through this, and one of the kids gets a tick, you're not a very popular camper in that house, mate.
No. That's more brownie points to go out on your next expedition, isn't it?
Yes.
Now the next little thing we want to hit, I want to give this a name because I think it's going to be a regular occurrence.
I'd say so.
And I wanted to call it, what did I say I wanted to call it? Andy's tough talk or Andy's
and that's just going to get me in trouble, mate.
That's right. That's what I wanted to
do. Look, it's a talk about detector settings. It's such a big topic for detector people. And honestly, I'm not a huge settings person. Obviously, I know my settings pretty well. I don't get involved in settings talks all that often because I just find it a little bit irrelevant or repetitive. Basically, you got to try and keep, or in my opinion, keep your settings a bit simple. If you think pushing your detector to the edge or having the maddest settings on your 7000 is going to magically make you find gold, then you're wrong. That's not how it works. You find gold by putting your coil over the right ground, not by changing your settings. But in saying that, of course, you know, we have got these variable settings for a reason, and you use them to your advantage. So if you're in new ground or you're in somewhere where you're just searching for gold, my advice is keep those settings dumb. Keep them down so your machine runs so smooth and quiet. You get no ground noise, bump noise or anything's not an issue. You can go off a red hill, through a gully and up to a slaty hill without having to stop or ground balance or even slow down at all, So I run with fairly tame settings. Very rarely do I push my machine to the edge.
So what would be the difference for you if you're up there on the Palmer, you've got your 6 and your 7 set up the way you've got them set up there, and you go, I'm just going to shoot down to Warwick for a week. What are the differences in settings that you'd have between those two goldfields?
Yeah, well, Warwick's actually a little bit hotter than the Palmer, so I'd even bring the settings down a little bit more, or I'd just see how they run. If I'm not running smooth, as soon as my detector starts to wobble or warble or get affected by too much ground noise, or you just can't move through at a good pace, I'll bring those settings down. So obviously with the 7, you want to do your ferrous one whenever you change areas. I don't do my ferrous, ground balance every day with the 7. If I'm going back to the same spot I was at yesterday, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But if you go 5Ks away, yeah, you want to do it. Or if you're getting EMI problems and stuff. But when you go to a new gold field, absolutely, I dumb the machine down at first, and I wait until I find gold or I find real promising areas, and then I might start pushing the limits of it. Now, once you get on a good patch, like let's say you're using the 7,000 and you've had it on difficult setting, so which is what most of us have to run, otherwise you're just digging hot rocks all day. But if you're on a good patch of gold, then when you finish cleaning it up on difficult settings, come back to normal settings so that you are getting that bit of extra depth and it is more sensitive. Just be aware that you are going to dig ground noise and hot rocks by doing it, but you're probably going to get more gold as well. So push the limit of your detector when it's necessary, not just because you think it's going to get you that extra half an inch of ground under your coil that's you're going to find nuggets that others didn't. It just doesn't seem to really work that way. So yeah, my advice is keep it simple. Keep your detector just running smooth. It's more important than trying to push it to the limits.
I also think the threshold of a person's ability to put up with noise is different as well. So, like, I know if my detector is noisy, it gets wound down real quick.
Yep.
Like, I can't stand that. Whoa, 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 whoa. It just drives me insane. I think it's a good thing to turn it down quicker because, honestly, you're not doing yourself any favors listening to noise that isn't it? It's a waste of time.
The vast majority of gold nowadays is sub-gram nuggets. Most of the gold I find, my bread and butter, is 0.2 grammers. They're the main gold you find. And if your detector's noisy, you'll miss a lot of them. You want to be able to hear those whispers, the slightest change. Now, threshold's got a lot to do with it, but we'll do threshold to be an entire chat.
Another Andy's moments.
Yeah, we'll see if we can stir people up.
Yeah, let's get it in the comments. What are we going to call this segment, guys? Where Andy broaches all these subjects that get people's heads turning in the prospecting industry.
It's just such a touchy subject. I don't know why people get so fired up over settings, but
I don't know why
they honestly do.
I think it's because a lot of people think that they've got the best settings and no one else should know that they've got the best settings.
That's right. Now, I've come across, plenty of blokes that, oh, no, you can't see my settings. So, that's cool, dude. No
I've got
worries.
the same detector. Yeah.
But like I said, the most important thing is not your settings. It's where you're putting your coil. You've got to put your coil over the right ground, not change your settings.
And then I suppose we could broach the subject of, and does the coil matter in another podcast as well?
Yeah. Air testing will be another subject. There's plenty to go over, mate. So
because air's the same density as dirt, isn't it?
Oh, exactly the same.
I've just started another head turner.
Yeah. So, no, all good, mate. But that's my tip for today. So we'll move on to the next segment, which we do have a name for.
We do. We have a name. We've got everything. It is time for Drop a Nugget Shout Out.
Righto. Today's shout out goes to a mate of mine up here in Queensland. So a few of you have probably heard Donnie Pascoe. You might have even seen him on that Seven Mates show. He has the Donnie Pascoe Lads Prospecting. So that's on Facebook and on YouTube. He's especially active on Facebook. So if you like Facebook, jump on and follow the Pascoe Lads and follow Donnie. He occasionally puts up okay prospecting tips. He puts up some good videos. So he's the lease owner, scratch and detect. So you're going to see some nice nuggets at times. But the best reason to follow Donnie is he's just a funny bugger. He's just a character. So if you want some good giggles, especially prospecting related, give Donnie a follow.
Great shout out, mate. Now there is the guys have just seen his YouTube channel. I've just put that up on the screen for them. There's a link in the description below to his YouTube and to the Facebook page. So jump down there and go and check Donnie's pages out. Good one, mate. Hey, let's do Gold Hotspot. What do we got, mate?
Absolutely.
I think this is a pretty significant one, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. This is basically Australia's first recorded gold discovery. So we touched on Queensland's first goldfield last episode, so we thought we'd touch on New South Wales and essentially Australia's first goldfield. Now, no doubt there was gold discovered by people before the official, find at Ophir. Yeah. But as far as official gold finds go, then it was Ophir in 1851. We had William Tom Jr., John Lester, and Edward Hargraves. So
now, most people are probably going to have heard of those names because the story that goes along with this is pretty compelling. It's a story.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much history there. And look, Trove, there were so many articles. I'd still be reading now for weeks if I wanted to. So, but yeah, they found gold at the junction of Lewis Pond Creek and Summerhill Creek in 1851. So, and I don't think it was substantial amounts, but it was good enough. But Hargraves, of course, got the payout for the goldfield. So he got £10,500. So that's huge money. That's well over $1 million. I
did the math. It's around 1.6 million Australian in today's money.
That's massive. So now the name Ophir, which was actually one I started thinking of, I'd never heard it anywhere, and it was actually William Tom's father named the place. So in the Old Testament, in the Bible, there was a place named Ophir, and it was known for its fine gold.
Yeah.
So that's how Ophir got its name. I also found mention of, like we're saying, records of people finding gold there right back to 1823. So only verbal finds, though, no actual written classifications. But yeah, like we said, they'd been finding gold not just there, but through a lot of Australia for long before official records started. And then when I was digging through Trove, I found a really good story about a massive flood that went through there in 1852.
Right.
It covered up a lot of their workings, filled in a lot of their good holes they had been digging, washed away a lot of their stamps and stuff that they built and everything as well. So now we're actually going to provide a link for that story because it's a really good story. If you like your gold history, jump on the YouTube and go down and find a link, and it'll bring you that story about the flood there in 1852.
There is a Trove link in the in the description below under Ophir Gold Spot, so you'll find it there. Now, Matty, give the people an idea. Where is it? Where is Ophir in New South Wales?
So it's not far from Orange, in New South Wales, which everyone sort of knows where it is, or it's easy to find. And that whole area was extremely gold rich. There's hard rock workings. There was massive alluvial fields, like big rivers that had good gold. There was also deep leads. All the gold for the Sydney Olympics came from a big mine there.
Yes.
So they're still producing good gold in that area.
Yep. So I got some numbers when I knew we were doing Ophir, and they were not easy to find. Gold records in New South Wales were obviously done a little different to Victoria. I don't know why. But keeping records in New South Wales
mate. Don't try and make reason of it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, so the field reporting. In 1876, in 1 year, the Escort recorded transporting 6,081 ounces from Ophir. In the 3 years before that, they totaled 22,000 ounces. It's believed that over 14 million pounds worth of gold was taken out of the grounds at Ophir, which is worth 2.15 billion Australian dollars today.
Sounds handy.
That's crazy money. And you can still prospect up there today. They've got a nature reserve that is open for fossicking, and I've actually seen YouTube videos quite recently of guys finding gold there. No worries at all.
Usually in that area too, you'll find some gemstones. I've seen some really good sapphires and zircons, garnets and stuff come out of that area. When you're on the gold, you'll normally find a few gemstones as well. Yeah, no.
So there you go, guys. Massive history mark there for the Australian goldfields with Ophir. Obviously, it was around exactly the same time as Warrandyte in Victoria for the first gold discovery. As soon as Ophir was official, the Victorian government said, right, we're going to give you £10,500 to find gold in Victoria too. And bang, what do you know? There's gold in Victoria as well. So it's always been that friendly rivalry between New South Wales and Victoria. It goes way back into the 1850s. So. No, we just don't like New South Welshmen. That's all it is. It's just simple. They call us Mexicans. We don't like it.
Pretty simple. I live in Gympie, and Gympie's the town is known as the town that saved Queensland, because at the time Queensland was still part of New South Wales, and we were trying to break away, but we couldn't get the money. But then they found Gympie, and we quickly came up with the money and got the hell out of New South Wales. Put a big border between us.
What a decision!
Yeah, look, it's just New South Wales. I mean, their goldfields are a bit funny too, as we know that they're not the best sort of detecting goldfields. There's some good alluvial goldfields down there, just a bit hard to get to. It's like New South Wales government makes it hard at every turn.
I think every government's making it hard these days. But look, shout out to any listeners in New South Wales. We're just hanging, we're just hanging shit on you. You'll get over it. Yeah, you feel the same about us.
That's it. I'm just a cane toad and you're a Mexican, mate. So
that's right. Well, yeah, temporary Mexican at the moment, I think. Won't be long, I don't think.
Right, well, that's sort of covered Ophir.
That's covered Ophir. It's probably gonna cover us for this ep too, mate. We're just about half an hour now, so we don't want to go running over too long. Don't want to be pumping out Joe Rogan episodes for 3 hours or anything. So, look, next week we will have a guest. I'm not going to announce it just yet because it just needs to be locked in, but we should have a guest. Hopefully, you guys are more impressed with our recording episode efforts this week. We're obviously in separate states now. We're not sitting in a hotel room echoing, and we've got Andy down on the tech now. We had a few teething problems. It took us a day to get you on screen, didn't it?
It did. It took a day, and even then, it's still not the setup I want. But it's the
not.
Setup
but we're getting there, mate. We're getting there. I might have to fly up just to set up his laptop for him and get it. But, what an excuse! No, do I need another excuse to go up there? No, don't need much,
mate. People are supposed to listen to me when it comes to settings on detectors too. Clearly, I can barely turn a laptop on.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I know why you don't think settings are all that important now.
Yeah.
Guys, right, your feedback is valued and welcomed. So any feedback, any ideas, please drop them in the comment section. We'll get back to you. Questions, keep them coming. We love to hear from you. It's all about the community, and we're doing it for you guys so that hopefully everyone can get something out of these podcasts. The two of us, talking what we do in the bush and what we've learned over the years. So,
well, that's why we need an extra person on, mate, so they don't just have to, listen to the two Andrews.
Mate, how do you think I went for the first 20 episodes talking to myself?
Yeah, that'd be difficult. I'd run out real quick, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's why I kept the episodes down to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.
See ya.